Bonjour, my royal friends. This is Princess Diane von Brainers-Fried with more tips for your royally happy life. Today, I'd like to talk to you about dealing with an illness and how to deal with it, not from the physical point of view, but for the mental point of view. And I found that is such an important aspect of dealing with an illness. And many of you know that I'm a breast cancer survivor. I like to say thriver. And one of the ways that I really thrived was by learning to handle the thoughts and the fears that came into my mind. And today I'd like to give you 3 keys for handling breast cancer or any other illness. And the 3 keys are they're permissions really. Permission to call yourself happy, permission to call yourself healthy, and permission to look at this an adventure. And the first permission I came up with was because when I was first diagnosed, I had already gone through learning to be a positive psychology life coach, a certified positive psychology life coach, and I was writing about positivity and happiness, and this was kind of my mojo. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, how am I going to be the princess of positivity now, being diagnosed with breast cancer? And I thought, you know what? How do I handle this? Where do I put my mind? And I learned that nothing can withstand sustained thinking. I learned that in my School of Practical Philosophy course. And I thought, okay, I'm going to throw sustained thinking at this. And day after day, and all of a sudden I had an epiphany. And the epiphany was, if I let cancer steal my joy, then I've died while I'm still alive. And I didn't want breast cancer to steal my joy because I didn't want to die while I'm still alive. So I gave myself the permission to be happy. So that was the first permission. The second permission was I gave myself permission to be healthy. And I came up with this because I would go to, let's say, a doctor's office not associated with breast cancer, just, maybe my normal checkup or whatever. And the doctor would ask, how you doing? And I would want to go like, well, what do I say? Am I a fraud if I say I'm doing great? I mean, I'm going through breast cancer. But I didn't want to feel that way. I wanted to feel myself, which was, usually positive and full of joy. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give myself permission to be healthy. And the reason I thought about that is because, you know what? When you have a cold, you're not a cold person. You don't have an identity of a cold. It doesn't just sit down on you as like, oh my God, I'm a cold person. No, you're a healthy person who happens to be going through a cold. And that's how I decided to look at breast cancer. Transient, not part of my identity. I'm healthy and I'm handling this issue. So the second permission was the permission to call yourself healthy. And the third permission for myself that I came up was, how am I going to look at it? I'm going to look at it as an adventure. And the reason I came up with that is because I had to help. And often we learn things when we help other people, right? She's still in my heart. She's passed on. But many of you know I talk about this woman, Fanny. She was a French a French Holocaust survivor. And she was my friend, my mentor. She was everything to me. She was one of the most brilliant women that I ever knew. And she was older, and she was dying. And I remember going to visit her. I visited her many times when she was dying. And she gave me lots of advice and wisdom. But she said to me, Dee Dee, how am I going to handle this? And I remember thinking to myself, please God, intelligence, something. How am I going to have the wisdom to help this brilliant woman handle this end of life question, this profound question? And I remember thinking that we could look at it as an adventure. And I said to her, Fanny, look at it as an adventure. And I remember her eyes lighting up, and she said to me, yes, I'm going to look at this as an adventure. So when it was my turn to handle something traumatic like this, I remembered what I said to her. And I remembered to say, what she said, and I'm saying to myself, yes, I'm going to look at this as an adventure. And it really helped me, because you know what? On an adventure, it's something that you can find positive. Something to learn, something you can pass on to other people, something to make it, find some joy. So my friends, my royal friends, please use these permissions if you need them, or if you ever need them. Just remember them. Tuck your in your silk pocket and say to yourself, I am going to look at this. I'm going to be able to give myself permission to call myself happy, permission to call myself healthy, and permission to go on an adventure. Mwah! Ta-ta for now.